up all over the place. Hello, y'all, and we're back. I told y'all we'd be back sooner than later. And my locks are still sticking up. I had my hood on my head, and my locks are sticking up. But anyway, I wanted to come back on and let's discuss the Marvin Sapp stuff. The Marvin Sapp drama. Y'all here for it? You might not be. I don't know. But let's discuss. Because it's a fun topic to discuss. It's an interesting topic. It's a very much layered topic. So let's talk about it. I talked about it on another platform. I think I talked about it on here already too. But, it can always use more opinions and points of view. But what up, y'all? I don't know what is going on with my locks. They do not want to do right today. Hold on. Hello and welcome in. Don't be afraid to say hey. I am in the car waiting on my kids. They have an appointment, so they're in there doing that because it's one of those appointments where they need to speak freely, so I stay out the way unless they need me. So unless I get a text that they need me, I stay out the way. My oldest son is 18, so yeah. Anyway, enough about that. That's neither here nor there. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to we can chit chat. Let's talk about Marvin Sapp, y'all. That's a very multi-layered, interesting topic that I just, man, it's so many points of view, and I love it. So if y'all are not familiar, Marvin Sapp is not only a very famous gospel singer, known for Never Could Have Made It, He Saw the Best in Me, just a number of amazing songs. An amazing gospel artist. I've actually seen Marvin Sapp live, and he puts on a show, honey. Made me cry and everything. I was pregnant with my youngest, and I saw him live, and he's amazing in person. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about he is also the pastor of a church in upstate New York. Okay, so I'm sure most of y'all have seen the viral video where he was saying close the doors when it came to be offering time. And the way he said it, at first when he said close the doors, I think the ushers thought that he was joking. And then he says it again, like, no, for real, close the doors. And when I first saw it, I was like, this video had to be taken out of context. It can't be really real. If you're joining, please go ahead and like the live. All I'm asking you to do is hit those three dots in the corner, please, and thank you. Welcome in, y'all. Happy Monday. But when he first said it, he was like, close the doors. And he was like, close the doors. Like, no, I'm being really real. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, so it seemed really, really weird, the energy was weird, but I was like, obviously this video had to be taken out of context. There's got to be more to it. So I went down the rabbit hole. Y'all don't have to, because I did it for you. I went down the rabbit hole and I wanted to see what his response were, because people were giving him a lot of flack, because the video went on to say, as you keep watching the video, if you pull up the original, the whole thing, not just the snippets that are on Instagram. Hey, what's going on? Welcome in, y'all. Y'all go ahead and tap the screen and like the live, please, and thank you. So if you go down the rabbit hole and you look at the entire video, not just the snippets you see on IG, which, by the way, I'm on there too. Please go ahead and follow me on IG, because it's hard on IG. It's hard out here for a creator on IG. Harder than YouTube. But anyway, so it was crazy, because then he says, it's 1,000 people in here. It's 1,000 people online. Each of y'all need to give $20 so I can get $40,000. And it was the way he said it. Now, have I been in a service where a pastor has asked for a certain denomination of money, a certain amount of money? Yes, I have. Have I been in a service where a pastor said, hey, I would love it if everybody gives blah, blah, blah? It was the way in which he said it, like he was demanding it, that made me uncomfortable when I watched the video. And so, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all go ahead and like the live. We got 11 people in here. Go ahead and like that live. If you in here watching, it ain't nothing, just a tap a button, please and thank you. Welcome in and happy Monday. So it was the way in which he said it. It was a tone and the energy behind. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. So it was the tone in which he said it, and it was the energy behind it. The energy for me watching the video. Now I wasn't there, you know. I don't know this man personally, but the energy I felt watching the video, it felt like peer pressure. It felt like you are peer pressuring people into giving. And then the whole thing of close the doors. Bro, what you closing the doors for? Now he said he was saying to close the doors for safety because they were about to do a huge monetary transaction within the church if they had collected the $40,000. I disagree with that because I've been to several mega churches, several, and there are some that even have ATMs in the building and they don't close the doors during offering. So I don't know. It's weird. So, yeah, hostage. Yeah, that's what I felt. That's exactly it. I felt like he was holding the people hostage. That's like he was robbing a bank. That's what it felt like. Yes. And it you know, and then people wanted to be, you know, I saw a lot of people on the other platforms saying, well, you should give, you should tithe, you should this and other. I do believe you should give to the church. I do believe you should tithe. I do believe that you should give to the place that you worship at because there are bills to be paid. You got to keep the lights on at church. Sometimes you do have to help with the pastor's lifestyle because there are some pastors, that's all they do is being a pastor. They don't have a side job. So I do think because they are providing a service, they do deserve to be on a salary. I agree with that. Do I think that the salary and what they have should be substantially bigger and greater than what their congregation has? Like I don't believe in a pastor living high off the hog and then your congregation can't even pay to keep their lights on. Like that's wild to me. I don't believe in a pastor having, you know, brand new SUV with rims on it and your congregation is coming and they hungry because they couldn't even get breakfast that morning or they don't have money for groceries. Like that's the part that's unsettling for me. The other thing was when you say close the doors and pony up this money, like those two things together, yeah, I was a little disturbed. But again, like I said, I was like, I'm going to keep watching because I need to know because obviously this has to be taken out of context. Only to learn it wasn't. So when I went down the rabbit hole and I wanted to hear what his response to all the flack he received, he mentioned that it was a conference and that the $40,000 was to cover the cost of the conference. Because a lot of people were saying, how did you come up with the amount of $40,000? Here's my thing on that. It does cost money to cover a conference. I have been to several. I used to go to MegaFest back in the day when TD Jakes used to do MegaFest at the Georgia Dome. And Georgia Dome was packed, baby. I'm talking about thousands of people. The Georgia Dome was off the chain back in the day. So I've been to some conferences. I know they cost money. But people that usually go to a lot of these conferences, most of the time, if it's a religious conference, you're paying a ticket to get in there. And some of that ticket money covers the cost of things. Some of it, not all. Some of it pays the speakers. Some of it pays for the people to come if they have to have transportation fees, so on and so forth. But some of it does cover the cost of the actual conference. So that was wild to me that he's saying, oh, these people are already at this conference and this money was to cover the cost of the conference. I'm like, didn't you charge tickets? Okay. One thing I will say is that it did seem weird when, you know, he said close the doors and he said, we all gonna leave at the same time. Like, ain't nobody leaving. And then he was like, I mean, y'all ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant anyway, like laughing but very serious. That was just weird. That was weird. The conference should have paid. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what I said. Anytime I've been to gospel concerts, conferences, like I said, I've been to MegaFest. What was this other one? When I was married, myself and my then husband went to a couple of things. They were at the Civic Center. That tell you how long ago that was. But I've been to several things. Even when you go to they used to have this thing called the McDonald's Gospel something, where they would have all these gospel artists. Now the tickets were very, very low price, and they would be held at a church. But at the same time, you still paid something. So there's always like some type of cover charge, ticket, whatever. Because think about it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You ain't finna go see Mary for free. Okay? It's finna be, yeah. Yeah. Ministry does not necessarily pay like a regular gig. So I get it. Things have to be paid for. I'm not knocking it at all. But it just seemed weird that you're already in the conference. It's the end of the conference, and now you want to collect money to cover the conference. So that seemed weird. You telling people to close the doors and then jokingly, but not really, saying, we all going to leave at the same time. Bruh, I'm going to leave whenever I want to leave. That disturbed me because God doesn't control free will, so why are you trying to? Right. And then you can't make somebody give a certain amount of money. What if they didn't have that money to give? What if they wanted to push through and get to this conference so bad that they spent their last? He needed a down payment for renovation. Huh? Yeah. He needed a down payment for renovation to his financial situation. You're not the first person that said that. Now, what I will say that's positive, because I don't want to seem like I'm just knocking this man. I don't ever want to come off as I'm just being negative Nancy and I don't have anything positive to say. I love his music, okay? But also, I did see him do something that most people don't do in a religious environment. He charged the pastors that were on stage with him, because it looked like it was maybe like 30, 40, I'm not quite sure. He charged the pastors that were on stage with him with donating as well. Let me make sure my charger, we charging here. Hold on. We need no more issues today. Okay. So he said, I want the people here and the people online to get $20,000. I mean, $20 a piece. He said, there's 1,000 of you here. There's more than 1,000 on you online. If everybody gives $20, we can get to $40,000. And, saying basically, all right, we're going to be here until we get this $40,000 type thing. Right. But then he did say to the pastors that were on stage in their fancy suits and Stacey Adams and whatnot, that they needed to give 100, not 20. He said that 20 is not for you. The 100 is for you. You need to sow a seed as well. So I do agree with the fact that the pastor needs to sow a seed into the church as well. I've seen my own pastor be the first person to sow a seed. Because his thing is, how am I going to tell y'all to do something and I'm not doing it? Because that would be like the old adage, like, when you're a kid and your mama do something and you try to do the same thing and your mama be like, do as I say, not as I do. That would be what that is. So I have seen my own pastor build a church from the ground up, and not only build the church from the ground up, he didn't do it off of the people that are in there. He did it off of the energy. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like the bills got paid off of the seeds that he sowed. Not only just that, but the seeds that we sow as a community, as a group, as a church family. So we did together. It wasn't like he up here and we here. Yes, he's our pastor and he's supposed to lead our flock. And we have several pastors in our church. But it never gave, I'm above y'all. Like, he literally would talk about, like, hey, I get mad. I get frustrated. I be wanting to go off. Like, I'm working on my patience. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I'm human just like y'all. But I'm always trying to do better. And I'm trying to lead all of us to the word and in the right way. Okay, cool. So I did agree with the fact that he did charge the pastors with giving of themselves. Because a lot of times you'll see so many of these churches where the pastors are prosperity preachers. And the only one that's prospering is them. While their congregation is struggling. Riding in the parking lot with, mufflers hanging off their cars. Them little kitten heels, the heel about hanging off by a thread. You feel me? Somebody mentioned that too on another live. Did he give 100? We will never know. I want somebody asking him to answer honestly. I wish that somebody that was there in the room, I've been looking for a video for somebody to respond that was actually there at that conference. That would be interesting. I would love to know their take on things. But his take was the $40,000 was to cover the conference, and that, ministry costs, this and the other. We all know ministry costs. We all know that the lights got to be paid. And every church takes an offering. I ain't never heard of no church that don't take an offering. Okay? But I also feel like the fact that this video went viral, it's going to lead a lot of people away from church. A lot of people, they're going to stand on that. They're going to double down. See, that's why I don't go. And that's the part I don't like. That's the part I don't like. That's the part that I really, I feel bad about. Hold on, let me see y'all's comments. What's going on, Lou? What up? I say hey to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. How are y'all? I appreciate you being in here. Thank you, thank you. Y'all, you just caught yourself a... Wait a minute, hold on. Let me read. I gotta turn my screen up so I can see y'all. Hold on. Because I want to... You said, I just caught a pass on getting mercilessly trolled because I know the church on some BS too. Why would I be trolled if I'm just speaking my personal opinion? And to be honest with you, that kind of sounded a little bit like a threat. Lou. I don't really care about trolls. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if that's what your account is for, why are you here? That's the fact that you admit that that's what your account is for and that's how you're spending your time. That's kind of sad, actually. Anyway, moving right along. I don't care about trolls. I'm cool with people not agreeing with me. That's cool. I'm cool with you debating with me. That's cool. I'm cool with us having two totally different views and opinions. I respect the difference of opinion. That's how I kill time, but you seem like cool people. I mean, I try. But I don't know. I just feel like, you seem very well spoken, so I just feel like you could be doing something else, He loves you too. He loves all of us. That's why he created us. But yeah, I'm just speaking my opinions off of my personal, I am not, this is the thing, y'all. I'm never going to get on here and act like I'm some churchy, holier than thou person. I'm not. I'm just somebody that tries to do their best every day. That's it. That's it. That's all. I try to treat other people right. I try to raise my kids right. Some days I do better than others, but I am by no means perfect. I am not one of the people that's going to be beating you over the head with a scripture and telling you everything you did wrong, because that's what drives people away from the word in the first place. I would never do that. That's been done to me all my life. And I know how some people feel when they say, church be on some whatever. I get it. A lot of people got church hurt. A lot of people didn't been through some things at church. So I get it. I have personally been through. Let me tell y'all something. All right, Easter's coming. I'll give y'all a quick little story time. So when I was married, me, my then husband, my oldest son, because my youngest son wasn't born yet. My oldest son was like maybe 7, 8. And we were newly married, and baby, we was having our first family Easter. So we used to go to this Bible study at this like soul food restaurant. They have Bible study on Monday nights. So we met this pastor, and we didn't have church home at the time. We were going to different churches trying to figure it out. At the time, I'll give you some backstory. Y'all see my hair is real interesting. I'm a hairdresser, so my hair is always on some interesting whatever. I don't like to blend in. I do my own thing. At the time, my sides were completely shaved. You think I hadn't even have a shadow. It was bald. And I had a teal blue mohawk going down the middle, and it came in a V at the neckline. Okay. And it was just curly. I didn't have locks. I just had my I'm natural, but I had just curly hair. But it was bright teal. So on Easter, of course, I got a match because that's what I was known for back in the day. If you know me from back in the day, you know. So I had on, I don't even think I did a heavy face. I think I did like a light face with a nude lip because I was going to church. I didn't want to do too much, because my look was already enough. I wore a dress that was probably just came like this, and it wasn't strapless, but it was sleeveless, right? Dress came down to my knees. I'm 5'9.5", so that's pretty long because I'm long legged. The dress came at my knees, y'all. And then I had on some teal pumps to match my hair and my accessories, okay? My then husband had on button down shirt and like a teal tie, and I think my son had on like a button down shirt and teal tie. We was matching. You couldn't tell us nothing that Easter, okay? We was together. I gotta find some pictures. I'm gonna show y'all. So we go in this little storefront church of this pastor friend that we know. Never been to this church before, but it's an old school Baptist church. Okay, cool. So the minute I go in there, everybody is really friendly to me. We're speaking, happy Easter, good morning, praise God, except for this one lady. They had ushers, which I didn't really understand because it was an extremely small storefront church, but they had like 4 ushers, like it was a mega church. It was funny. So, and they had like the white glove, old school ushers, right? So this lady came and she was like, good morning. Like real dry like. And I was like, oh, okay. And I felt it. You know how you could feel somebody's spirit just like, But I was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm here for the word. So we sit down, this and the other. And I forgot what part of the service we were at. But when I tell you, I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting between my husband and my child. I had a ring on my finger. My husband got a ring on his finger. I think we might have been sitting there holding hands. You know how you sit next to somebody and you hold their hand, right? So you can obviously tell I am there with my whole husband. That same lady that gave me that dry good morning, she pulls out this huge prayer cloth, y'all, and throws it over my lap. And she says, cover your legs. I'm looking around like, what just happened? So I wasn't as cool with Jesus as I am right now. Baby, all of the holiness and all of the Easter was finna come up out of me, and I was finna go straight to the street with it. Because what? Homegirl threw this thing over my legs, and I politely picked it up. I scooped it up, and I put it on the empty chair that was behind us. And I just sat there, and my then husband was sitting there like, yo, you like calm down. Like, we still at church. Like, he was trying to bring me down because he already knew. I'm all Sagittarius, so I'm cool until you make me mad. But this lady threw this prayer cloth over my legs. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm at an old school Baptist church. I don't necessarily fit in with the women here because I have a mohawk and it's blue and I look a little bit different. Now, I was dressed accordingly. Don't get me wrong. I'm always be respectful of somebody's church when I go. But I looked around and I said, well, maybe the women here all wear stockings because I know some old school churches, the women have to wear stockings and their dresses have to be blah, 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 whatever. I look around the room. No, there's a bunch of women and they got on sundresses and things, the normal Easter gear. And so I was fitting in with that. So I said, maybe she just don't like my mohawk or did I have piercings? Now that's one thing I don't change. I will never take my piercings out to go to church. I just don't. It is me. It is who I am every day. And it's very personal to me. And I just feel like if I'm going to present myself anywhere, I'm going to have my piercings in. I'm not going to be fake and phony when I go to church. I'm not going to be one way outside of church. And then I'm going to try to dress it up when I go in church. If my piercings are a part of me, if my tattoo is a part of me, I'm going to go in with that. Okay. So I said, maybe she looked at me because which I'm used to that. But this lady came and threw a prayer cloth over my legs. Y'all would have thought I had on the miniest of mini skirts. I promise you, my dress came down to my knees. I'm 5'9.5". So she had thrown the prayer cloth over and she was like, cover your legs. Right after that, this young lady walked up to me. She rushes up to me. She said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That is not what we do here. That is not what our ministry is about. I'm so sorry she offended you. That is so wrong. And she made you uncomfortable. Like, I just want to apologize on behalf of the whole church. Didn't know who this young lady was. And I said, I appreciate that, but that's not your fault. But I appreciate you speaking on it. Thank you. So then I kind of leaned into my then husband. I said, hey, soon as they get done with the word, deuces, we walking up out of here. As soon as they stand up for the benediction, we gone. Because my energy is completely thrown out. I can't even get into the word now because my spirit is disturbed. So we end up leaving. And just like most black folks do at the church, we went out to eat. So we went to Longhorns. So we're sitting there at Longhorns, we're ordering our food. So his phone rings and he hands his phone to me. And I'm like, who is this? I'm thinking like it's one of his family members or whatever. And he says, it's the pastor. And I said, okay. So I get on the phone, I say, hello. And I already knew what he was going to call me about. And I said, hello. He says, first off, I just want to apologize to you for what that usher did to you. That is not what we stand for. That's not what our ministry is about. This and the other. I said, Pastor, I appreciate that, but I will never come to your church again. Because you have somebody there that's like that their energy is off. I said, what if I was somebody that didn't know God at all? That woman would have turned me away. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing in the church. Too often that happens. And it's only got to happen one time to the right person for them to be messed up for the rest of their lives with their relationship with church altogether. It's only got to happen once. And he said, you're right. He said, the issue with that lady, come to find out, that lady's husband had a wandering eye. For whatever reason, he thought that I was appealing and he was staring at me. I'm completely oblivious to it. I ain't know. Plus, I don't want your old husband anyway. That dude old enough to be my daddy and then some. Plus, what make you think I'm entertaining it when I'm sitting there with my whole husband? I was sitting there with my husband, with my ring on, holding my husband's hand, praising with my husband and my child. I ain't looking or thinking about nobody else. This woman was so disturbed that her husband had wandering eyes, and apparently he had wandering eyes for a lot of women in church. But when I came in, it was because he had never seen me before. And like I said, I don't blend in. I don't have the normal hairstyle. I have piercings, whatever. So for whatever reason, he was enticed. Okay. That's not my doggone problem. I'm there for the word. Whatever's going on with you and your husband, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not entertaining it. I didn't even know somebody was looking at me. How about that? I'd be oblivious. When I'm with my family and I'm supposed to be at church, I'm really, I be in my zone sometimes. Like, legit. Anybody that goes to church with me will tell you, it's times when they come in and they be like, hey, what up, Jen? And I be so zoned out into like prayer or whatever I'm there for that I don't even, yeah. So because this lady felt threatened, or I don't know what you want to call it, she felt like she was going to project her bad energy onto me because of how her husband was feeling about me. And that had nothing to do with me. I'm in church with my whole husband and my kid, and this lady husband is looking at me, and she feels threatened or whatever you want to call it, or disturbed or whatever. So she feel like she's going to disturb my spirit by throwing a prayer cloth over my legs that are covered by a dress that comes down to my knees. What? Y'all would have thought I had on some pom-pom shorts in church the way she threw that thing on my knees. So I understand when people say sometimes the church be on some foolishness. Some churches are, unfortunately. That's so unfortunate because it turns people away. And because that spiritual space is so, you're so vulnerable in that space. You're so open in ways that you would not normally be open in the outside world. It can really hurt you in a different way. And I don't think people understand that. You have to be careful with the way you handle people that are part of your flock. You have to be careful in the way that you lead people. I say it all the time. Everybody that's in the pulpit is not called, and everybody that's called ain't in the pulpit. That's just real. And you have to have the discernment to recognize both. Just because somebody prophesizes over you doesn't mean that quote unquote prophetic word is what it's supposed to be. And then my sister said something too in a live. She said the thing is, you can't let everybody pray for you. Everybody's intentions, regardless of the words in that prayer, everybody's intentions behind that prayer is not always pure. Some of the most jealous people around you will quote unquote pray for you. So you have to be mindful of the energy that their spirit is bringing. And sometimes it's not the things that somebody says, but it's how they make you feel. And I've learned to tap more into my discernment. I was telling my sister, discernment is very much like a muscle. You got to keep using it so it can get stronger and stronger. so that you know what's for you and what's not for you. Here's an example. My youngest son is 8. He has the most open, pure little heart there is, and I love that about him. But it also scares me because he's in the 2nd grade. And he's the type of kid, if I have something, I'm going to share it with you. I don't even know you, but I'm going to share it with you. Not realizing everybody ain't for you, son. Just because they're in your 2nd grade class, that don't mean that they're your friend. They're your classmate, not your friend. Know the difference. Unfortunately, he's learning the hard way. He had someone, he's an artist. My son is an amazing, talented artist. For 8 years old, my son can sit there and draw Sonic the Hedgehog like that, okay? In 2 seconds. Y'all like the live, please and thank you. Hit the 3 dots in the top. This kid asked him, hey, can you draw me Sonic the Hedgehog? He's like, sure. So he comes home and he spends like an hour on this drawing. Now, usually he can draw Sonic. He got so good. He can draw Sonic in the span of like 5 minutes, okay? Top to bottom, coloring them in, like shading. I'm not talking about just a line stick drawing. I'm talking about like shadowing his face and all that type of stuff. He's really good at it. So he drew the kid a drawing. 2 days later, the kid punched him in the stomach. I don't know why he did that, Mom. I said, that kid pretty much tricked you into making him the picture that he wanted. He got what he wanted out of you, and now he's going to treat you like crap. I said, so what have you learned from that? He said, he's not being nice today. I said, no. That little boy wasn't nice to begin with. You just found out. And he said, well, I don't understand, Mommy. I want him to be my friend. Everybody's not for you. Is everybody that's around you is not for you. Just like people always want to be like, thinking that they're coworkers or their friends, and then when they go left, you be surprised. Because they're your freaking coworkers, bruh. They're not your friends. You might have coworkers that you are friendly with. They're not your friends. If y'all are coming in, please like the live. Hit the 3 dots in the top, please and thank you. Let's get some likes going, please and thank you. But yeah, it's just, a lot of people have church hurt for real because it only took that one time. And I've definitely been on both sides of it. When I was a kid, my mama kept me in church. I was raised Catholic. I went to a Catholic school from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. I was an altar kid. So, the little kids that carry the cross or the candle with the priest? Yeah. So, I had theology in my school, and then we had chapel during school. Then I had church if I had to serve for mass. Like, I was in church. Had no idea what my word said. Sometimes I was in church 3-4 times a week. Had no idea what the word said. I knew about Jesus and Mary and the crucifixion, and I knew about the birth of Christ and a few other things. They made us memorize the names of the books in the Bible, but I did not actually have a relationship with God, and I did not have a relationship with my word. To be honest with you, and I'm not saying that Catholicism is bad. I'm just saying that it was not for me. So let me preface by saying that, because I don't want to be offensive to anyone. For me, by the time I got to be 12, I was like, well, I'm going to the sunken place because I done already messed up. Because on one hand, it'll tell you, Jesus forgave 70 times 70. But then on the other hand, it'll tell you that if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to the sunken place. Okay. And then it always baffled me. Like, I asked my mama one time, and she didn't know what to say. I said, Mom, you always say that, God sees all, God knows all. My mom used to tell us that, like, if we was doing something bad, she'd be like, God will see it. Okay. So I'm like, if God knows all and sees all, why I got to repent by going in this room, this closet, with the priest on the other side and telling the priest all my business? Confession is what it's called, basically, when you do confession. Y'all seen it in the movies where people about to do something bad and they be like, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. So I used to be like, yo, if God knows everything, why I gotta go talk to this man and tell him? I don't want to tell him. I want to tell God. like, why does Father Bennett need to know all my business? Like, for real. So I was one of them kids that was constantly asking questions at church. And I'm sure I ticked off quite a few of my priests because it just was not for me. And I don't like the patriarchy of Catholicism. I don't like the fact that y'all put Mary on a pedestal and she's so exalted, but then a woman can't be a priest. A woman can only get to a certain level in the hierarchy of Catholicism. I don't like that. It made me uncomfortable. But yet, you have this huge statue of Mary in the front of your church. Strange. And then I just went kind of looking for everything. Like, I went to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's called a zikr, if I remember correctly. But it was when the Islamic people pray to the east, and there's a lot of like chanting and so on and so forth. Now, I didn't understand it because, of course, it's in a different language. But I went with my then boyfriend because he was interested in it. I did like the vibe of it because even though I couldn't understand it, the energy felt very calm and very serene and peaceful. What I did not like was the fact that when we went in, I went in with my boyfriend. We walk into this room and there's women on one side and there's men on the other. They split us up. I didn't like that because I felt like if I'm rocking with you, I want to worship with you. I want to pray with you. Like, I want to grow spiritually with you, not separately. So I didn't like the fact that they separated the women from the men. But that's what they do. That's, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it was not for me. Then I went back to the Catholic Church because that's what I knew. That's what was comfortable. And I didn't really care for it. And then I went to a Baptist church when I was pregnant with my son because I just needed the word so bad. I needed something to hold on to because I was in such a dark place. And I was like, I just need to hold on to the word wherever I can get it from. And I remember I was working at a shop. I was a nail tech. And this guy comes in and he said, I'm a pastor. He said, I've been working on my car. And me being a pastor, shaking hands, my nails are all whatever. So I did him a little manicure, whatever. We get to talking. He tells me about like his wife, his kids, his ministry, invites me to his church. So I go, and for a while I was going, and then I moved, and it was too far for me to go to that church. But that was a good experience. The only thing that I did not like is that I told him that I wanted to rededicate myself. Not like a baptism, but I just wanted to be saved all over again as an adult because I had a different understanding of the word at that time. And I just felt like so down. I needed something to help me through, something to hold on to, something to just it was such a dark place, y'all. And I wanted better for the child that I was carrying. I wanted the energy inside of me to be better for the child that I was carrying. Because if you don't know, there's a big old transference of energy when you are pregnant. So you have to watch the words that you say. You have to watch when you get angry, when you get stressed, and so on and so forth. Because it doesn't just manifest physically. It can manifest emotionally and affect your baby. The only thing I didn't like is when I went up for altar call, they wanted me like fall out. Everybody gets saved don't need to fall out. And I'm not a person that can fake. So they kept saying, call on the name of, somebody had their hand on my head doing this and like pushing my head back. And I'm like, I'm not finna, like, what are you doing? Why are you pushing me? Like, yo, why are you pushing me? Don't push me. What? I know, but don't push me. No, I'm just playing. But no, but it felt weird. It's like, why are you pushing me? I don't want to fall down. I'm very pregnant. I don't want to fall down. Who's going to help me up? No, this is dangerous. So I didn't fall, and it was weird, right? But I mean, the people were nice. And then I went to, years later, I still didn't have church home. So years later, I went to this other church that another client invited me to. She and her husband were the pastors of. Baby, she set me up. And this is the thing that I do not like. I don't like to go to a church and you put on the show. Be all the way real, okay? If the spirit isn't moving you to put hands on somebody and make them fall out, don't do it. Don't just do it just so you can make the congregation all riled up and they can put more money in the pot. Don't do that. But if that is what is in the atmosphere, okay, cool. I get it. If it's in the atmosphere for you to speak in tongues, okay, cool. But don't just be doing it all willy-nilly because it looks good, because you put on a performance. I cannot stand that. And I know when it's real, and I can feel when it's a performance every time. And it unsettles my spirit. I don't like it. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. So I went to this church, and I'm gonna be honest, if I go somewhere new, I'm gonna be in the back. I'm not somebody that likes to be out front. I know y'all see my hair and whatever, and y'all like, ooh, she like to stand out. I like different stuff, but I am not somebody that when I come into a new situation, I can be extremely extroverted. I can be extroverted on here. I can be extroverted when I'm cutting hair. If I go into a new situation, I'm usually introverted, and I'm trying to like observe and peep out the scene. That's the Sagittarius in me. So I sit in the back. I get there on time, sit in the back. I only had one kid at the time. My oldest son was there with me. I think this was one of the times me and my ex, we were on break or what, I don't know. But it was just me and my son. So we go, sit in the back. Baby, they did an altar call, and she starts like staring at me, like laser focused, like beckoning me to come. And it's like, I ain't told you I wanted to come. This is my first time here. What you doing? It was like she was calling me out to make an example and a show of me in front of other people. That felt so freaking weird. So when I didn't come up there, baby, they got the oil and came back there to me and started putting the oil and started doing all of this and like, and I'm like, first of all, lady, you done messed up all of my Maybelline, okay? I did not ask for this. You done wiped off my eyebrow. Like, I was so upset, y'all. So the pastor came and put oil on me, and it's like, I didn't invite that. You done messed up all my Maybelline and my makeup. It took me a while to beat this face, and you done messed it up now. But it was like I was a new person at the church, and she felt the need to make a show of me. I don't like that. So I never went back, and I don't think I ever did that lady's hair again. I think the next time she came in, I made sure, or next time she was scheduled to come in, I made myself very unavailable. Or I might have told my coworkers, tell her I don't work here no more. Because I was so uncomfortable. But she was like aggressively pressing oil into my head, and it was so fake. It was so fake. Because there was nothing that I told you or shared with you. And then she was prophesying stuff out of left field that had nothing to do with me. She was just making up stuff. She literally was making up stuff that was not real. And I was like, But I've also, on the other end of things, because I don't want to seem like I'm just being negative about church, my pastor has prophesied over me. But here's the thing. Here's the difference in the way that strangers have prophesied over me, and I knew it wasn't real. And my pastor prophesied over me, and I knew it was all the way real. First of all, what he said aligned with what was actually going on in my life that he had. There was no way he could have known. There was no way, because I didn't tell nobody. So, and then the second thing is, he wasn't trying to do it for show. I will never forget, it was after church one day, and something was going on with me, but I hadn't shared it with anybody. And very quietly, he kind of, come in. Because it's like a brother-sister relationship. That's how all of us are in our church. It's like a big old family, legit. He said, come here. And very quietly, he told me what he needed to tell me. We prayed, and that was it. But it wasn't like a announcement during church, I'm going to prophesy. It wasn't that at all. It was very quiet. It was very private. It was very personal. And it was a conversation between me, him, and God, and that was it. But it aligned with what was going on with me. Like when I tell you, he said everything and prayed over everything that was going on with me at that moment. And it was something that was going on with me that even my husband did not know about at the time. It was something internal that was going on with me that I was struggling with, okay? That my husband didn't even know about. Nobody knew. So there's no way that he could have just known, because nobody could have told him. I didn't share with anybody. That's how I knew it was real. But like when people say there's somebody with the name Tina and you and Tina are having discord. I don't know nobody named Tina. Stop playing with me, bruh. And better yet, like, stop playing with God. Like, if nothing else, you shouldn't want to play with the people that follow you, but you definitely don't want to play with God. So I understand when people start talking about church and people like, I don't want to hear all that. I get it. Because a lot of people have been turned away. They've been hurt. They've been talked about. It's a lot of drama that goes on behind the scenes. But all I can tell you is you have to find a place that is for you, and a place that that is going to suit your needs. Really, you just need to pray about it, because if you pray about it, God will put you in the right place. And it may not be instant, because there were times when I would pray about it and then I would go to a church and I'd be like, oh, this is it. And it's like, no, not that one. But all I can tell you is church is not the building. Church is the community. Church is the people. Church is the energy. Church is the word. And so many people forget you ain't got to have a brick and mortar building that you go to every Sunday just to go to church. It's a lot of people that go in that brick and mortar building and they walk out and they have received nothing. It depends on you. It depends on the energy behind things. It depends on the intention. And every puzzle piece ain't going to fit. Everything ain't for everybody. Some people need to be having church in somebody's living room. And some people need to go inside of a building. Some people need to have church in Kroger. It is what it is. But people forget that church is really the community. It has less to do with the building and everything to do with the community and the intentions behind it. Think about this. Everybody likes to call in the name of Jesus, right? We all call in the name of Jesus. A lot of us do. I know I do. You do know that Jesus didn't have a brick and mortar, right? You do know that Jesus wasn't behind the pulpit preaching every Sunday, right? And that's the most famous person to lead us to the word, right? Jesus didn't have on no fancy suits. Jesus wasn't standing behind the pulpit. He got the job done though, didn't he? Think about that. Jesus was more outside the building than he was inside the building. Jesus did more of his work out there with the people than most pastors do. So, but I get it. It's a lot of people that had church hurt. I've experienced that so many times. So I prayed about it and I used my discernment. And even now, even outside of church, just in general, just living, I trust my discernment. And if something does not feel right in my spirit, I let it go. I don't question it. I don't worry about it. I just simply let it go because I realize it is not for me. But anyway, y'all, I got to go check on some things. So I will talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings. I might come back on later if I wash my hair. I don't know. We'll see. But peace and blessings. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If you are not already, go ahead and hit them 3 dots in the top. You can always replay these lives because I just leave them up. But thank y'all for sticking around, watching, and listening. I appreciate y'all. Bye.